my prayer that everything has been well this afternoon with everybody, and that God has manifested himself in a way that you know it has been God. Does anybody watch God today do anything? Or take time to watch God like you watch TV? Got a funny question? In the course of a day, have anything caught your attention that you knew was God?
Oh, yeah.
Something you saw where you said, something God showed you in the course of your day. Just like you watch TV, any other thing, do you ever pay attention to the Lord?
Sometimes.
Y'all getting quiet.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. You didn't see nothing today.
I know it was God. Carol and Gwinnett want to come out today, but I know it was God.
Mm-hmm.
I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I know Sister Rita and Al prayed. Because the day, even with those people, but I'm going to tell you, Gwinnett came out this morning early, and I used my mama term, the bookers. I wanted to tear the bookers off. But God.
But God.
God. And Sister Gwen came out. And I said, let me say something to you all. Now, and I prayed that the words of my mouth and the meditation, that was God. And the way I talked to those people, I know it was the Holy Ghost. That was God. That was God. Because they started crying. And I said, thank you. That was God.
Thank God.
And then Deacon Woods comes up here today with Psalm 32 and 8 about God guiding us. And I said, Lord, I'm proud of you. That was like confirmation of teaching us and instructing us and guiding us as it was. That was God today. That was God. Carol called me and said, when they called and they're going to come home. I said, okay. God worked there. Oh. Now you tell me he won't do it. God will shut you down when you want to tell people off, not only for your benefit, but for the benefit of others. That's why you have to stay in the Word, and that's why you have to shut up and get out the way.
That's correct.
That's why you have to leave reading home quickly, you know. And she said, well, I ain't going. Y'all go. And I told Carol, you did. She said, when I don't so mad, I did. But it's amazing he came with that scripture tonight. Deacon Woods, I tell you, that's God. That's confirmation. But I just said, and I knew that was God.
In the midst, I was pondering, watching God. And I asked the question, have life got so busy that we don't see him all the time? And when Sister Macca says, I didn't notice. And I think it's because we are busy living that sometimes we don't notice just how much he does. I mean, really, from the point of you getting up in the morning,
Oh, yeah.
till you thinking about nothing you actually do, you do on your own.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of the depth of what he does, it really is a shaking thing to see what God actually does for you on a minute-to-minute basis. When folk are gasping for air and you breathe freely. When no one knows where Corbett is, but you walk around day by day. You know, And I believe there are many that walking around with it.
That's right.
And you don't know if you have it.
That's right.
But the grace of the Master is something else.
Yeah.
Because there are some things I'm happy I don't know.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
My uncle said something to me. We was fishing. He said he told his doctor, if ever I come to the doctor and you see cancer in me, don't tell me. He said, just give me whatever pills. He said, but do not tell me that I got it. He told his doctor that. He said, I don't want to spend my end time worrying about how much time I got. He said, I'd rather just live and deal with whatever hurt than you to tell me. He said, I got enough on my mind besides adding that. And sounded crazy for a second. I said, but you know what? That may make him live longer than someone who knows it. Now, you have some people may say, I want to know. And sometimes we're not cognizant of some things you know that you want to know. May not be in your best interest to know. But because God gives us on need-to-know basis. If God say he'll supply your need, I believe it's everything you need to know. Some things we want to know, but not always need to know. And sometimes it gets you to your core, and you can't function well, because now you know something. And you were doing well until you found out. Am I the only one that ever felt that? You run into something, you say, man, I wish I had never known.
Right. You know, Pastor Brooke Anthony was just telling us today about the young man, 40-something years old, a lot of money and everything, found out he had pancreatic cancer. It doesn't even matter. I bet, you know, Brooke, if he hadn't known, found out about that, he probably would have been just fine. Money and everything. You know, that's a good example. That's a good example. You know, you're right.
Why do you think Satan boggles our minds? He knows the power of being positive, but he also knows what happened when negative get in. And if he can take you there, he'll take you there. I'm trying to tell you, when God says trust in him and keep your mind on him, them some big statements. We just don't think so until it hits us. But it is of a truth that monitoring your mind can be some kind of job, especially with all the stuff you hear. I said, I hear more news about COVID than I hear about Ocala, and I live in Ocala. There's more stuff about disease and government than they talk about where we live. And we on the local channel. I say everything outside Ocala is more important than even in Ocala. What's happening where I stay? It's like what's outside now is greater than even knowing what's happening around where you live. And I say now that news has taken over. So as I was studying and pondering today, we're going to be looking at the book of Jeremiah, chapter 8. You know, this is the one where we deal with that balm in Gilead. I want to deal with some questions that are given there, questions that need not questioning. Jeremiah does a great job at giving some questions, but the questions are rhetorical to the people who are there. So he's giving questions, but the answer should be relevant. But they're living like this is a question right now. Like if I tell you, do you have God? Right. I'm not asking you that because I don't think you have him. Right. I'm asking you that for something you could snap. Right. Yep. I want you to remember, if I come to you, Brother Grant, and say, man, aren't you praying? When you're talking about all the stuff going on and I say, do you pray? And I know that you're praying. I just want to know do you remember your prayer? Because times can get so pressing. It's like, have you forgotten where you've been, what you've been through, and how far you've come from? And we living in a life where it seems like this moment has lingered for years. I was in the store today at Big Apple buying a sandwich for breakfast. And when I got to the counter, he said to me, he said, Rev, are y'all still in church? Are y'all out of church? Or how you doing? I said, we're still in, kind of spaced and wearing masks. And he said, yeah. He said, I guess, well, you do what you have to do. And then he said, I'd have never thought that we'd be still in this. And I said, when you go back, it's not very long. For a minute. And I say of the truth, we're just not accustomed to living like this. We have folk in this world that live on the worst conditions than what we have at this moment. Right. I'm talking about in some places that has this and the regular condition. And then I say, we just got this. Yes, sir. They got this and starving. And kids with AIDS. And list goes on. And it's enough to say, well, God, I thank you just for this. Because it can be much worse than what we think it is. Yes, sir. You understand? And one must look for the sun in the midst of cloudy days. Right. And there are times when your days seem dreary, when you got to press toward the sun, because it's only eclipsed by the problems. Right. The sun is always up. Even when we can't see it, it's just something in front of it. And what's in the front of our joy or peace is usually what we're looking at. Because Satan can't steal nothing. We have to give it to him. And we'll give him our praise. We'll give him our joy. We'll give him things. And inside of this text, these people have been in bondage for a minute. Now I ain't talking about 3 months, 6 months. I'm talking about they've been in it for some years. Can you imagine if God say, well, I think America ought to get 5 years? And you wouldn't even want to think of that at all. But there are folk in this Bible, 5 years, they'd have been happy for 5 compared to 30 and 70. Yeah. And I said, there's always some reason for me to shout to God. Yes, because you got to remember, he's the same God. And he could say, have 70. And he changed not. Because whatever we've seen in the book, he can put it in now. And show you that I am the same. We've been living, and our praises have been on the mercy of God. The grace of God. We don't want to think about the one that they call him, he's an awful God. He's a dreadful. Nobody wants to deal with that part where God may say, kill all the children. We serve that God. You don't realize that. But we serve the same God who would tell the prophet, tell the king to kill them all. And then we'll say, what kind of God let children starve? I say the same God that you read about. And God been running this place for a long time. And I just believe he knows what he's doing. We just don't always understand. We're no different from those in the book. Right? Right. He says, behold the voice of the cry of the daughter of my people, because them that dwell in a far country. Listen at this question. Is not the Lord in Zion? Is not her king in her? Why have they provoked me to anger with their graven images and with strange vanities? The harvest is past. The summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt. I am black. Astonishment hath taken hold on me. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? On the Christian journey, we come upon things where it appears that if we don't have a way out, and what's most sad is that we are the cause of many of our hardships. If God audibly sent someone on television and said he was God's prophet, most of us probably wouldn't believe it. Or he's speaking on behalf of the Lord, and he says that the Lord said, I'm not pleased with you in America because of this, that, and this, and you're going to have this pandemic for another 10 years. Most of us may write him off and say, man, I ain't listening to that foolish man, ain't anybody. And what if it kept lingering? Some people may think about what he said if it keep lingering. And the truth is, you know, I feel sometimes I'm so blessed by God, I can't get no heavy burden. We are beyond Job's incidents. We think we're beyond an issue of 12 years or by a pool for 38. We read and we praise God about it, but we should be thankful if it haven't happened to none of us. Yes, because we live in the same land with the same God, with the same problems. Because there's nothing new under the sun, right? The question posed inside of verse 19 to 22 are questions that should be realized in every good or bad reality. Verse 9 says, it's a verse that we are drawn to pay attention to based upon the word, behold, right? Meaning to see or lo. A word that is used for you to pay great attention to and what is about to be said. And the root word for this is surprisingly so. Which means this is something surprising or shocking. Behold the voice of the cry of the daughter of my people, because of them that dwell in a far country. Is not the Lord in Zion? Behold the voice of the cry. Pay attention to this loud outcry of distress. There's a major concern about people who are in a far country or those who have been taken captive by something that is from another land. It says the far country, when the study says, when they talked about the voice of the cry of the daughter of my people because them that dwell in a far country, it is not saying that they may have been taken away, but it may be something has invaded where they live. It's like, let's say, it's like Russia come here and all of a sudden take over where we stay. Those from a far country have affected how we live. Or if one takes us from where we are comfortable to a strange place. Now you have to think of this not just geographically, but spiritually. Has anything happened that has come in our lives foreign that it might have removed us from our normal? Did y'all hear me? Yeah. When God asked Adam, where art thou? He was not talking geographically. He was talking, why aren't you the same place I left you spiritually the last time we talked? Now, there are many of us at times God can say, where art thou? And you can be in your house, in the bedroom, but going crazy about some issues. And God will say just suddenly, you just testified and shouted. Then where are you today, Monday at 5? All right. It means you have went to a far country. You don't have to be in a car and drive somewhere. It's you are not where you used to be, and you're far from it. You don't sound like you go to church today or know anything about the word. That's false. And nobody is exempt from sometime and seeming like you're in a far place. Am I right about it? Mm-hmm. He said the cry of distress. You could be out of character. That's a far country. Or doesn't appear to be in a place spiritually. Or something comes in from another place and seems to have you captive. Or listen to this, or with limit, or it limits your movement. Some of us are distraught because we can't do what we used to do. Right. And it bothers us because I can't do these things. Some have said preachers ought to have more time now to study. And I've said, well, members too. You know, if that's all they do, they ought to really be. And then exclude themselves like they're not in it. Well, you're not going anywhere. What are you doing? Eating watermelon and sitting under a tree? What are you doing in this specific time we call a pandemic? Has it drawn you closer to God, or have you found something else to do? Listen, we got to be truthful. Have I given more time to Him, or have I found something else? Right, Lowe's sell more flowers now. Yes, sir. There are more home projects now. There are people doing stuff they've had on back burners now. But God has not been as much of a thought now. Y'all know? Time might not have been shifted to God, and may have been shifted to projects. But we want Him to hurry, but we're not drawing near. It appears that we are moving far. Y'all don't hear. All right. When you would think, if it's so bad, we draw nearer. Come on. But we're finding other things to do with our time. Mm-hmm. Listen, I say nobody's exempt. You're right. We're not just fishers of men now. We just go fishing. That's right. You understand? That's right. And I have to say to myself sometimes, Keith, what you been doing? And you have to get with the reality of, you ain't been looking in there today. Mm-hmm.
Well, Pastor, with this pandemic, you can't be going to people's houses and with these masks and stuff on, they won't open the door. So you can't be going, you can't go. So, Pastor Blunt, we just can't be doing that.
That's right.
But you can't get on the telephone. You can call somebody and say a word.
That's right. We send our prayers places.
Amen. Right. Mm-hmm. We sure can do that.
And then we'll say we can't go nowhere. But our prayers travel.
That's right. And you know what too? We have this prayer line. We have a prayer group. And sometimes me and Sister Yolanda and my sister, we do our table. We do our 6 feet stuff.
Not everybody wants to.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that's to be candid. We're barely digging woods, catching Wednesday and Sunday. And now you cut this building off. And I don't know if Wednesday night at 6 or 7 I'll look at my book. Because I don't have to cut. Even though I was doing it until the church doors closed. I got a feeling someone will pick it back up when the doors open. Mm-hmm. One pastor said it like this. He said, when God releases us, you will see some new faces And you also see some faces don't come back. And that's all. Some may get comfortable with Sunday now and sitting home, where it used to bother them, but now the habit doesn't relax them. Behold, the people are crying. It's surprisingly so, because many have believed that God is not in every location, and He is in a specific place. Remember, in the Old Testament, and I have to remind myself, they don't have the knowledge of God as you have. They were learning God. The Bible said Jonah ran away, and his purpose was to run away from God. Because where he experienced God was where he was. And when God gave him assignment, and he didn't want to do it, he ran away from his boss. He thought he did. Because he didn't have the knowledge of, you know what? God is all over. But he ran into knowledge and found out that He's the God of heaven and the entire earth. That's what the scripture says. It said he paid his fare and went down into it to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence. Now we who know God say, how you going to run away from? You got to understand, they don't know what you know. And the truth is, we don't know everything about God. That's why we don't believe as deep as some who do.
Right.
You got to experience God sometime before you get to a level of knowing God. Mary and Martha thought Jesus had to be there.
Right. Right.
Isn't that right?
Right.
And then somebody who wasn't even in the church said, I know you can just say it.
Right. That's right.
And Jesus said, I've never found nobody. I've been around all these church folk. I've been all around all Israel, and nobody talking like that. Everybody wants me to touch them, come to me. Haven't realized yet that I'm the same God, I just come down.
That's right.
But I've been answering from a distance until now. And here I am on earth, and now they want me to come to them. But I'm the same God that's been answering from a distance. That's not right?
Right.
We share the same thing. Some of us say the preacher needs to come.
That's right.
Some of us say, give me the anointed oil. Some of us say, I need you to touch my head. Because the truth is, we all have not arrived.
Right.
So God can do it. And you just ask Him. Some believe I need to get in the tent. Some may believe I need to give this 100. Y'all got on. Some believe you already broke. But Brother Bell, I believe what he said. And there's some that have got up the next week and said, the Lord, I gave it, and the Lord. Y'all know that, right? Then you got some sitting there saying, I lost $100. Y'all don't hear me. There are some that got touched and say, heal. And then some leave and said, he just touched my head. Is it the same God that left them walking with nothing happening as the one who left there with their back straight? He has to be the same, Minister Nunn. We're talking about the same God that let James' head get cut off and then let Peter out.
Right. Yep.
And you'll say, well, why didn't you let him get out? Because of God.
Right.
I'm sorry. I can do it because it's in my power, and I know what I'm doing. Why didn't He fix your situation? He fixed Brother Gray's. And some will say, and it was the same thing. It's a lot of same things. God don't do the same thing. Isn't that something? And he changes not. It means, can you handle no as good as yes? Will you praise him for no as good as yes? What do you think of that, y'all? Is not the Lord in Zion, which is the same as Jerusalem? But Zion here means this parched place. Remember I said Zion means a parched, a hard place. Is not the promise keeper, the self-existent Lord of hosts, in parched places and hard places? Are there any Christians wondering, is not God in the pandemic?
Right.
Is he not in the hard places of my life? Is not the promise keeper there? Is not her king in her? Is not there someone on the throne? Or is there, they're saying, Jeremiah saying to people, you're saying that, is God still up there? Do he still run it? If God is running, why does it look like ruin? Is God just chilling a minute? And how long will he chill? You remember when Elijah was joking with them when they couldn't call their God? He said, your God on a trip? Is he in a far country? He can't be here. He ain't doing nothing. And you need him. Some of us won't like to admit certain things. But we wonder, Brother Butler, time. Is these one of these times you ain't coming?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
And you answer the question when you wake up. You got up this morning, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm here. The questions are answered. We're just looking at a specific.
Right. Right.
And we ask ourselves questions just like this. Someone who can give permission. God is sovereign, the Lord. He can grant privilege. He can assign persons. He can give power. Or one who deserves praise. The psalmist reads as if to set up to say, aren't you doing something that we ought to praise you for? Have you done something today that I ought to shout about? Is my problem so big that I can't see my praise? Because someone who's sovereign by way of title is deserving of consistent praise. Right. Especially when he's on your side.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a power, church, that can't be hindered by nothing. Yeah. And he says, I'm your God.
I love it.
Isn't there something deserving of praise from the sovereign God you serve, even in the midst of what you think bad? Mm-hmm. Is there a reason to shout when the piano don't play?
Yes, sir.
If a choir doesn't sing? If the preacher's message is not as good to you? Is there something good left that I would shout for? Whether we have devotion or not. Is there something more I can shout about, even if the choir is not up this Sunday? Are the praise dancers the only people who raise hands in the sanctuary? Is God deserving of everybody up? Or is he only deserving of a few of us who realize
gotten changed to think that it should always be good or conditional, because he is so merciful and he does afford us so much grace that it almost, and I know we've discussed it so many times how it pertains to free will and just like we only think of the goodness of God, which is a good thing to think of.
That's right.
That's what we only, it's like we only want to, and when we experience that wrath of God for whatever reason, it's like then we want to see a sign. You sure you supposed to? I'm supposed to be here. Almost our prayer be, Lord, now you show you know, like we'll forget he ain't everywhere, beholding the good and the evil. Like, Lord, my prayer, do you see what I'm going through? Do you know what you mean? Do he see you? Do he know? Does he allowed it?
That's right.
It was done before it ever happened. And then you got the nerve to question, do you see Lord of all people?
We do. We do inside. Some folks say we're human.
Yeah.
Some folks say, no, we're just habitual. To go back in the book, there we are. We're not doing new things. We're doing what's been happening. We are habitual offenders who get more time because of your habit. That's what they say in the courtroom. Since they just keep doing it, we ought to up the sentence. If you keep robbing, don't just keep giving them 2 years because they don't care about it. Since they're habitual, give them 15 or 20. They may think differently the next time they get ready to take. I wonder if God gave us more time for the crime, would we be as habitual? But if he only give you a slap and it wasn't that bad, would we offend again? Y'all could answer that already. Because the truth, when God done, ain't that bad. You just might. Well, it wasn't but a little slap. But when God really say, you know what, you gonna stay in a while. Then we say, woe is me. Because I thought it wasn't but a year or two for that God. And I'm still in this thing. It's been 7 years. The scriptures say, woe unto a man who knows, for he shall be beat with many unnumberable stripes when you know better. So God is not unjust. He's just trying to get us straight. Right. Does that make sense?
Right.
Listen, in Isaiah 40, Isaiah says this to the people who are going through. Hast thou not known? This is rhetorical, should be right. Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is he weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increases strength. If you don't think you can make it, he'll give you enough to make it. He might not get rid of it, but he'll help you go through it.
Amen.
Is not the king in her? It is realized when you're going through, there is a king who can rule in every place that you are. Why have they provoked God to anger with their graven images and strange vanities? To be angered, that means to be angry. Be vexed, be indignant, be wroth, be grieved, provoked to anger and wrath. God said, why would my people go another route when they know I'm here? That just gets to me.
Yeah.
I've been doing it all this time. Here they have a little something come along and turn and go another way. And it provokes. It provoked him to be God. Isn't that something? When they know to clean the house. They know to do the dishes. They know it. Why do they come home sometime and why they done went another way? I don't want to whoop you, but I'm provoked to whoop you.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I didn't come home to get on you. But look at this yard key, look at these leaves, and you provoked me.
Right.
Yeah, Reverend.
I didn't come home to whoop you. I'm tired. I've been on the bus all day, but when I look outside, I done told you 3 times, you made me go to this. I've been blessing you and treating you, and taking care of you, and you got the nerve to. I'm not mean, but you provoke, you make it mean. Get up and give a switch.
Yeah, Reverend.
Then we'll say, wow, mama. You see these dishes. You see that yard. Some things you shouldn't even ask me.
That's right.
You know what I'm doing. And you wouldn't be in this shape if I'd have come home and
Yes, sir.
I would have hugged your neck and went on in the room and laid down. But provocation. Isn't that something? You made something happen. Where is your trust during the worst of trials? Where's your trust? It grieves God and vexes him because they have trust in something that has been proven to make no sense. And won't trust in someone that has been proven in all of the times past. God don't just have your testimony. He got the testimony of others. You heard your mama talk about it. Your grandma. What you think helped you come to it? It's what you've been hearing. So you can't just say it's not just yours. I'm talking about other folk that said it. And you still go another way. Said it's surprising. Why are they putting trust in something that has to be carried around? Out of God, you got to tote, carry, raise something that is all around. God everywhere. When things are parched and not peaceful, why seek something that will not completely provide? All of us, we might can make you halfway get there. Sometimes we might not even get halfway. We looking for the 10. Yo, say you're looking for that perfect fella. Brother Ray looking for that perfect woman that make biscuits on top of the stove and not cornbread on top and not on the bottom, you know. And you meet one can't cook it all. I mean, and we looking for this thing, and nobody finds it. Y'all ain't talking to me. Y'all don't talk. Have you found that boss man that sympathetic and accommodating, understand if my family's sick? I mean, just he do all this. But he got something that will come up, and he's not the boss you would like to have.
Yes, sir.
Nobody here is 100.
That's right.
But we seek it. We seek 100%. And we know there's no one that's 100. And we'll hold folk to a standard we know don't exist. But we do have somebody who does. But we will not give him the attention like we give others. Why would you look for it in vanity? Images, you know you ain't gonna find it. Brother Ray, you know she can't cook. Why you getting mad over that burnt food? Keep on sitting on the cooking plan. Just it may get better, but you don't cook like your mama. Can I? Mom, Gwen, I don't know about y'all, but I miss some older stuff that I feel ain't coming back.
All right. I'm with you.
I think Blueberry Doobie is gone. I believe walking in old folk house and opening the bottom of the oven and seeing sweet potatoes are gone. Did you understand? Look like every old person's house. When there wasn't nothing to eat, it's sweet potatoes. It's like they just kept them in there. And I mean, where I was raised, there's certain stuff every old person just had. I don't believe, nigga, blood, that pot peanuts in the oven is going to hang around. Just shake them in there and put them in the pan. And when you come in, you grab a handful of pot peanut. Some of our kids said, pot peanut. That lets you know it's leaving. When your kids don't even know what you're talking about, they just put them in the oven barrel and turn the oven on. They dry all up and we be in there cracking shell. I just believe there's something that's going to be gone. I hate to say it, but they done took it. They got it in their restaurant.
Yes, sir.
Call it something exquisite. Might call it a parfait or something, man. This look like doobie. And the truth is, I gotta come to grips with something might be gone. Ain't no sense in me holding Trish Blunt and making me no berry doobie. Ain't no sense in me going there, so I ain't gonna make no doobie no. But she'll say, if I find a recipe. But the truth is, she might cook it. But I got a feeling. Won't taste like Rebecca's house. Well, I'm just saying, I think there's some things that are, And whenever it comes, I'm happy. But if it don't, I'm all right. Because I know that time, there's only one thing don't change. And that's God. No. Ladies ain't no iron your clothes and have them all folded and
no.
Wait a minute.
But once upon a time, that's what exists. But for men in this era, don't come home thinking that you're going to have all this and hung up and water in your tub and, And you just don't see it. Well, how old are you? Case in point. No one is exempt from fixing yourself. Now, maybe what you had can do some things, but it's not able to do all things. In Daniel chapter 2, when they were serving in Babylon, when the king had a dream that it was a bad dream, he was so scared that he called all the sorcerers, all the Chaldeans, and he said, I need y'all to tell me what this dream means. And they said, well, tell me the dream. And he said, it's gone from me. You can have a dream I had, I don't remember all of it. He said, I don't remember it. But you better tell me. All of y'all did. And the Chaldeans said, man, you can't put this kind of pressure on us. Ain't nobody do it like this. They told Daniel, and Daniel said, listen, king, give me a night. Let me talk to God. Daniel said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are here. He changeth the times and the season. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. If we have a Lord and we have a king, then what is the problem? It says it's a her. It means a woman can give birth. Anything the Bible mentions as a her, it means it can produce. The church is a her. Because it produces more saints of God. And when it talks about this place, her is not just negative, positive, but it can also produce some bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you say you hang around with folk, you ain't careful, you might rub off on, you'll sound like them, because it can produce more. That's why it's good sometimes to see who your children's friends are. Mm-hmm. And is your friend rubbing off on you, or are you rubbing off on them? And the truth is, the weaker dog always loses.
That's right. That's right.
And after a while, you'll see children that's not like the child because something around them is influencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it produces. For long you have a carload of them. She used to be the one like that. Now, after some time, now all y'all. Because the strongest personality usually wins.
Mm-hmm.
The White House is an example. Republicans had a little sense before Trump. Now they all don't. Now they all make excuses for him. They all. And you'll sit and say, man, what? This man, everybody can see that you don't got to go to school to see Trump. But the truth is a meal. Hanging around. You almost become what's leading you. What's leading you? Listen at this question. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, God says, I'm hurt. I am black, meaning I'm in sackcloth. That means mourning. Astonishment had taken hold on me. This is the prophet is saying, is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician? No physicians there. When then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered? Balm is that item used for medicinal purposes, and it was common in Galilee. People would come there to get balm. You remember on that movie Ray, if you hadn't seen it, that his mama said, I paid a whole $1 for this. He said, this stuff better work on your wife. And she rubbed it in there. But Ray Sight would leave it. I wish that.
Yeah.
She said this balm should work because it's expensive. And it probably doesn't work on other stuff. Am I right?
Right.
Big salve used to be strong.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It'll set your fire. I wish I had.
You're right.
There was nothing but a touch on your lip. You better not put no big glob across there. Clear everything in your head.
Yes, sir.
I wish I had some.
You're right.
Now Vicks, I say, what happened to this ain't no Vicks. You can put a whole thing on it. And somebody must have watered down Vicks. Then gave you to set you on fire. Now the smell just loud. But it don't burn you up like it. Mama put that on you before you go to school. You be sweating all day long. Not just in PE. You sweat walking down the hallway. is there no balm in the place where balm's supposed to be? The item was either sold to people who came there or brought in through other traders. Either way, it was available to help when there was a hurt. He said, is there no physician there? Listen, the study of the text says, because the balm was so much that doctors moved to Gilead. For they can have the product, for they can make money.
All right.
So because they had all of the stuff to make good medicine, they moved where the medicine was.
All right.
So he's saying, not only do you have balm, but there are a bunch of physicians in Gilead. Can you imagine? Mr. Nunn, science is something. They got scientists everywhere. Everybody working on the same thing right now. Ain't nobody thinking about nothing else but one thing. And nobody. And then Russia say, we got it. And then the U.S. say, no, it can't be right. I sat and said, Chris, it can't be right. Because they done spent all that money on more people. And they ain't gonna let them people in America get from Russia. But we got too much invested in America. So even if they vaccine right, we ain't buying none. I wish I had. I say now, the rich folk that already contemplate.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get it. While we have to wait for the one they see right. I wish that. We got physicians, but we all mask wearers. And we'll wonder, why isn't there, why we can't get the test back in 15 minutes when the president got one in his White House? Why we wait 10 days when he can see every morning before we get up? It's here. We don't got it. I wish I.
Right.
Sister Minton said they gave her mama that test and within 90 minutes they told her.
Yep. Yep.
But you get your test out there, it's 7 to 10 days. 7 to 10 days. Well, why they get 30? Why I get 10? What do I do while I'm waiting? You know, I do have somebody who's always there. He was there before it come. He there while I see him. He there when I don't know. He there after I do know. Why don't I trust in the balm I do have too? It is plenteous. The question is, why people ain't on this balm that's everywhere? Why not all the churches doing what we do 6:30? Why have the prayer meeting stopped? I tried to get it crunked one time and the number, but we all need it. But we all don't come because times didn't change. It didn't change much. You have to wait to see if somebody will pray. When folk used to pray on top of each other. Am I right about it? If folk one can get in, they be waiting to pray. Now you wonder who's going. Times have changed. But our God still is the balm.
Yeah.
Is he not the balm?
Yes, sir.
Why then, how did the health of the daughter of my people recover? What are you doing with what you have? If you got a balm, why you don't rub it? If you got physicians, why you won't see them? That means when you got a problem, if you can't handle it, there's someone who you can pray with. Why you won't call them? It ain't like it used to be now. I don't want to know my business. They'll just You can shout with them, but you can't pray with them. You can sing with them, but you can't, you know. And I live here too, where you can't tell everybody. But have you sought God to give me somebody? Give me somebody I can pray with. Send me something. Have you ever said, Lord, give me somebody? Because when I'm weak, I need somebody that I can say, listen, bro, man, I'm going through. And I need you now. The question is, why are we using what's at our disposal? That's a rhetorical question, and there's an answer too. Even if we don't give it, just like Adam. That answer ain't in the book. He said, "Where art thou?" But they never answered.
Right. Right.
It ain't been answered. That question is still there. Where are your daddy? Where are your mama? Where are your grandma? And folk ain't answered. Because the world is out of pocket. Older women cared one time about how younger women carried themselves. Now it's I can't talk to them. I don't even try. It has changed. Am I right about it? My father said older men would make sure young men men. Hey, something. Did you hear what I just said? I said they'll make sure they're men. They were joking, but it was the truth. He said they'll come in and say something to you. And bother you. Say, we want to know who rides on this bus. But now, we'll say that's he just playing with his sisters. Back then we'll say, get from over there around them girls. Play with. Now we let them play with their dogs and plait hair. Let my son play dress up. That's what Magic Johnson's wife did. He said, you stay home with me, and I let him wear my high heels and now he's dating a rapper.
Wow.
I wish I had somebody. Why aren't we using what we got? Prayer still. Getting with on your knees still. Grabbing their hand and said, God, you know. I have to pray. I pray for my daddy. Pray for my mom. Because doctors will say silly stuff. You know they're going to be like this. Mine don't have to be.
That's right.
Why can't mine break the step? I'll have a step breaker. I don't have to go with it. Because I think God is a God that sets us apart. And I think we just don't use it. Yes, no, I just think we don't use it like we used to. Once upon a time, I used to do whiteboard with Carmen. But you know what? Carmen ain't as strong.
Nope.
Y'all want to tip me. Carmen don't cut it like it used to. Just look like power now. I said, man, this thing no. But when they used to put Carmen on a rag, whatever on there, coming off. I used to wash my hand with washing powder, but you have to hurry. Because it be heating up soon as the water hit it. Ain't that something? Now it don't do like that. You wonder why your clothes ain't as clean. I tell you why. Because it ain't the same washing powder. The price up, but it don't clean up. Church, Mom, when I sat there, I said, ask the question of, did you see God today at all? Did you give him thanks for something today? Because he's the only thing that don't change. And if you can't praise God for nothing, that's a good reason to praise him. Because he don't switch out. Life can switch out. Friends can, jobs can. Don't get upset when folks do something different. They're not God. Because you, I got a feeling, gonna switch one day. And be a friend that might have done something not friendly. Everybody can, depending on what's happening in their lives. I'm a TV and movie person. Old. There's a movie called A Year, Old. About a deer. Boy found this deer. Dad had to kill a mama. Save himself because he got bit right around his neck. Made right up there going towards Jacksonville. And he kept the farm because he killed the mama. Farm got big, started having problems, eating up the crop. But his daddy told him he can always keep his deer. Boy, had that deer ate up the crop and looked like they wasn't going to make it. He said he going to have to shoot the deer to try to. And the boy ran away from home. Turned back, looked at his daddy and said, I hope you die. Left and ran into home. Got on this canoe with him. When he got back home, his daddy said, I know you think I went back on you. He said, but sometime in life, go back on your son. And when he got in after he apologized to his daddy and he walked in, his daddy said, he ain't a yielding no more. He done been through something. And he ain't a child. I wish that.
Yeah, yeah.
I say movies like that ain't no more. Everybody teach you how to shoot people now, how to blow up stuff. It's a change. I tell you, go back to the landmark and hold on to that thing that's been the rock and watch what happens. I think God is calling us to the rock. You got to watch where your time goes. Sometimes you just got to check yourself and say, man, what am I doing, man? Getting God any extra? You have to shake yourself. You ain't be ashamed it happens. But when you get a reminder, you got to shake yourself and say, let me look at this book. Come to yourself. Because if not, you can find yourself in the far country and wonder what happened. I kept y'all alone tonight. If all hearts clear,